Most songs care about something: romance, disappointment, anger, change. But we also love songs that don't care, whose singers tell us how little they think about an ex-lover.
I really don't care.
Or someone else's opinions. We love songs that look at the world's problems and offer a pointed kiss-off. Or channel them into nihilistic abandon. The Don't Care song may try to push us away, but it also shows us we're not alone. It offers a sense of shared catharsis and belonging.
I don't give a f about you or anything that you do.
Why does this attitude, so simple yet so universal, continue to speak to us across so many genres and generations? Here's our take on how the Don't Care song tells us something important with its indifference, and why we give a f about songs that don't. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get notified about all our new videos. This video is brought to you by Skillshare, an online learning community where millions of people come together to take classes that fuel their creative journey. If you are one of the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below, you'll get 2 free months of Skillshare Premium. So become a member today and start exploring your creativity for less than $10 a month. Not caring is often lumped in with not thinking, but it's actually rooted in deep philosophical thought. The ancient Greeks practiced Stoicism, which taught the importance of accepting the moment as it is and letting go of destructive emotions. Buddhism preaches that the path to enlightenment is learning to free oneself of all worry.
We need to be mindful, concentrated on what is going on and enjoy, and then the worry cannot do anything to us.
The German philosophers Arthur Schopenhauer and Friedrich Nietzsche formulated a school of thought that was based on a nihilistic rejection of will and desire, not caring as a means of emancipation from the world. Songs about not caring run the philosophical gamut.
La la la, whatever. La la la, it doesn't matter.
From a laid-back Zen approach,
Daddy, let your mind go wrong.
Exciting transgression, or carefree celebration,
It's my party, dance if I want
to alienation in the face of systemic inequality,
I don't care.
rebellion and anger toward the status quo, or outright nihilism. Superficially, the Don't Care song can also be about pure reckless abandon, or a romantic hookup with no strings attached.
I'm with you tonight, but tomorrow I'm not.
But this apparent shallowness can be deceptive. As Kesha has explained, TiK ToK is about how we're all young and broke and it doesn't matter. It's just about not letting anything bring you down.
Ain't got no money in my pocket, but I'm already here.
It's a song that doesn't care as a response to lacking money and opportunity, instead only worrying about what you can control tonight. Likewise, lyrics that can seem aloof or even callously indifferent are often masking passionate emotions. Cee Lo may be blowing off an ex-lover with an emphatic, but he's still hurting. Songs that outwardly embrace nihilism may be doing it out of self-preservation, retreating from an equally uncaring world because they're overcome by doubts. Or out of guilt for the pain they've caused. What unites these different songs is the same thing that nihilism, Buddhism, and Stoicism have in common. Not caring is a reaction, an implicit rejection of some expectation, situation, or even feeling being imposed on you.
We don't need no thought control.
When we feel like we have to care about something, the Don't Care song liberates us by telling us we have a choice, whether it's to shrug off responsibility, fight back in anger, or even wallow in despair. It's a powerful message, one that resonates in a world that, as those early philosophers realized, never stops giving us things to care about.
Overseas, yeah, we trying to stop terrorism, but we still got terrorists here living in the U.S.A.
Although the Don't Care song isn't explicitly political, it's often a reflection of and reaction to the specific cares of its time. During the presidency of Barack Obama, for example, a time of social progress and economic prosperity, pop music was light and carefree. In Miley Cyrus's Party in the U.S.A., all of her concerns dissipate as soon as she hears her favorite Britney Spears song. Taylor Swift can just dance away her critics with Shake It Off, unbothered by their sexist attacks.
Got nothing in my brain. That's what people say.
And while Lady Gaga's Born This Way alludes to intolerance, she too preaches just ignoring other people's opinions. For them, not caring is a luxury, afforded by a freedom that allows them not to worry, however briefly. In the 1950s, early rock and roll reflected the peace and prosperity after World War II, focusing on the innocent fun of its youth. Its white youth, anyway. The worst things kids faced in songs like Chuck Berry's School Days was a mean teacher or too much homework.
Soon as 3 o'clock rolls around, you finally lay your burden down.
And it could all be erased with a dance at a local juke joint or the top-down freedom of a car ride.
Everybody likes my Rocket 88. Baby, we'll ride in style, moving all along.
Rock made them so carefree they could even boogie in jail.
Who's dancing to the jailhouse rock?
In the 1980s, the Don't Care song reflected the self-centered attitudes of those same now aging baby boomers.
I don't care what you say anymore, this is my life.
Hits like Billy Joel's My Life and Kenny Loggins' I'm Alright celebrated individuality, but with an egotistical bent that verged on misanthropy. Phil Collins channeled his frustrations over his divorce into a bitter, nihilistic kiss-off, not caring as a flex of his power.
I got better things to do with my time. I don't care anymore.
They had the privilege not to care because the times didn't demand anything of them. But the carefree song can also be born of anxiety and upheaval. During the Great Depression of the 1930s, pop music offered a respite from pervasive economic despair.
Life is just a bowl of cherries. Don't take it serious.
Songs like Life is Just a Bowl of Cherries reassured listeners that money wasn't everything right when they had nothing. Get Happy, later made famous by Judy Garland, drew from African American spirituals that preached finding silver linings in the darkest of realities.
Forget your troubles, come on, get happy.
As the 1960s inspired protest singers who cared deeply about civil rights, stopping the Vietnam War, or enacting social change, they also birthed hippies who embraced a more carefree response, who protested by staying in bed, taking psychedelics, and generally removing themselves from society.
Turn on, tune in, and drop out.
They believed in rejecting inhibitions as a means of cultural revolution.
What are we fighting for? Don't ask me, I don't give a damn. The next stop is Vietnam.
That same freewheeling spirit fed into the disco hits of the 1970s, which encouraged people to forget their troubles and dance in the midst of crippling recession. The alienation fostered by this economic uncertainty would curdle into punk's righteous anger in the 70s and 80s. But punk was also defined by an apathy rooted in existentialism that united its fans in smirking disaffection. As this generation became increasingly bitter about its prospects, that apathy was reflected not only in Generation X movies about indifferent slackers,
who cares, that guy's an asshole,
but also in Nirvana's caustic shrugs. Pavement's winking insincerity, and Green Day's lazy rebellion. And metal and industrial bands channeled that dissatisfaction into bleak songs about fully giving up and embracing the void. Still, these were songs made by artists for whom alienation was a privilege.
If you live in carefree, then you probably don't look like us.
Notably, most of them are white male musicians expressing a choice of personal indifference. Not caring is far more complicated in hip-hop, where for black musicians especially, it's often been an attitude copped as a defense against systemic indifference, or the constant threat of violence.
Life's a bitch and then you die.
When an artist like Tupac raps "F the world," it's a response to a world that's repeatedly told him he doesn't matter.
I don't give a f about myself. I ain't shit. I ain't never gonna be shit.
And it's only more recently that hip-hop has been able to embrace not caring as a luxury, asserting it as the ultimate aspiration.
Throwing money in the air like I don't really care.
Music about not caring what other people think has had a profound influence on how we think.
Being able to look people in the eye and say, "F you, I don't care what you think. I'm doing what I want to do."
Although grunge fans had a reputation for being lazy or jaded, the 90s alternative rock scene was actually a high point for political activism on progressive causes like equality, the right to abortion, and homelessness.
Pearl Jam's raising money for Voters for Choice. I think it's a good cause, and I'm very happy about that.
There can be a downside to embracing not caring, though, as seen in the fans who have taken heavy metal's nihilistic outlook and turned it inward toward self-harm. In the 1980s, artists like Ozzy Osbourne and Judas Priest were even taken to court over accusations that their music has driven listeners to suicide.
Drinking beer, smoking marijuana, listening to Judas Priest, and contemplating suicide.
And while those cases were dismissed, this theory isn't totally far-fetched. In 2018, researchers at the University of Manchester found that fans of music that deals heavily in isolation and melancholy, such as heavy metal, goth, and emo, really are 5 times more likely to hurt themselves or even attempt suicide.
When he would listen to this group's music, it was more than just being amped or psyched up. It actually altered his behavior, altered his thoughts.
Still, even these studies concede that those subcultures provide harbor for vulnerable young people, giving them a sense of belonging. Not caring can also be a source of rebirth. In 2013, the writer Zeba Blay coined the phrase carefree black girls on Twitter as an assertion that black women also get to be unabashedly themselves in the world that's constantly putting them into concrete boxes. The term, along with its counterpart, the carefree black boy, has been used to describe artists like Janelle Monáe, Chance the Rapper, Solange, and Young Thug, whose music, though rooted in hip-hop and R&B, is indifferent toward genre, and who cultivate a free-form and gender-fluid personal style.
Remember when they used to say I look too mannish? Black girl magic, y'all can't stand it.
They shrug off expectations as a means of defiance, an idea that's provided all new political dimensions to not caring. For any listener who feels similarly marginalized or oppressed, this sense of community that's created through choosing to just not care can be empowering.
Sometimes I don't want to feel those little
Although the Don't Care song can seem superficially breezy, even shallow, it has a considerable emotional pull, one that makes the art form a lot deeper than we often give it credit. Even at their bleakest, these songs offer us freedom.
We kind of like to think of our music as musical freedom in a way.
From expectations and responsibility.
Today I don't feel like doing anything.
From social norms and the consequences of resisting them. Not caring gives us the permission to throw caution to the wind, to stop worrying about other people's opinions, and ask who it is that we really want to be and what we really want to do. That feeling may not last much longer than a 3-minute pop song.
'Cause I don't care when I'm with my baby, yeah.
But for just a moment, it illuminates how liberating it would be to truly live life on our own terms.
Throw your hands in the air and wave them like you just don't care.
Hi everyone, I'm Susanna.
I'm Deborah, and we're the creators of the Take.
Please subscribe and tell us what you want our take on next.
This video is brought to you by Skillshare, an online learning community that offers affordable classes designed to fit your schedule and skill level. With Skillshare, you can discover creative, entertaining workshops that help to break up the monotony of a day spent inside. One Skillshare staff pick you can check out right now is Dee Weedy's on creating intricate floral patterns in Procreate. In this beginner-friendly class, you'll learn new methods to draw, color, and build texture. Right now, Skillshare is offering our viewers 2 months access to all their classes for free. But that's only if you're one of the first 1,000 people to click the link in the description below. So join today and jumpstart your creative journey.